Okay, so I think we've got an image. Let's just test it again. There we go. That should work. Alright, so tonight I felt like doing a quick mission to destroy a bridge with laser guided bombs, and I've installed the winter map that's like semi-winter. If you look like this, there's areas with snow, others that don't, so kind of like the looks of that one. So it changes the atmosphere a little bit of the mission, but nevertheless what we have to do is destroy the bridge that's in this area here. It's defended by quite a bit of AAA, I think man pads as well, so we'll have to stay high, which basically explains why we use laser guided bombs. And there's an SA2 site here. After we destroy our target, there might be enemy fighters coming into the area to check what's going on, so we may have to defend against that, and then we'll just fly back to the base. So that's really the whole scenario. It's nothing complicated, but we'll get to see what the flight looks like. There's another F-18 that will take off from the base and go directly try to attack the SA2, so that might take care of that threat or not, we'll see. And we have an AWACS here, and the AWACS, the other F-18 and ours are on the same network, so we can use the data link to share information. So that's the idea there. Very simple mission tonight, nothing too complex. There we go. So, as I like to often say, one of the first things to do is to adjust the brightness of the HUD. It was way too bright. When you look to the side, you can adjust the brightness of the HMS. You can see there's a helicopter patrolling there, and our friendly F-18 has started taxiing, so we'll let him go first since he's the one with the harms that can take care of the enemy radars. So at this point we gotta set up our cockpit, so I like to get rid of this, then turn this on, put this on the SA page, data link on. Sometimes you have to press that button a few times, but make sure both data links are on. I like to have the EWR repeated in the HUD. HSI is set for waypoint 1 sequence 1. On the side we're going to set our stores. So these will be dropped in auto. Instant fuse. Code by default is 1688. So we set the bomb on this side. Set the bomb on the other side. Codes are in. To have these be able to work, we'll have to have our laser and FLIR operating. And we can turn on our formation lights here and positions lights here. You can see on the outside they're on. Oh look, we have like a little ground crew member there. And so that looks good. I think we're gonna be good to go. Master arms on, like I often do. Though we shouldn't travel on the ground with that. And if you're curious, this is the squad that I found a nice livery for, the Lancers, the MFA 212. Just thought it looked good and natural for this type of plane. We're flying for the Marines. And so there we go. Let's get in position and start taxiing. It's early morning, I believe. Let's go check F10. Yeah, 8:28 in the morning. You can see the little patches of white in the grass. We'll see it a little bit better once in the air. In front of us, that Charlie that we saw, that's the other F-18, so I'll know when I look with the helmet where he is. He's that Charlie there. It's interesting because the HUD on the F-18 is older instrumentation than the helmet display. And so you don't see the data link targets in your HUD, but as soon as you move your head, if there's something nearby, you'll be able to see it. Like here we can see Bravo, which is our AWACS. When we move our head just correctly, we see Charlie in front. But if I just look at the HUD, I don't see Charlie anymore. So that's something that can be good to know when you're trying to have good situational awareness, what's going on around you, where are your friendlies. You can tell with that. Now we're getting pretty close to Charlie, so we're taxiing a little bit faster than Charlie. I was hoping he would take off in the other direction, but I would have had to put more wind so that he wouldn't have a choice. I didn't put too much wind on this mission. I think there's a 1 knot wind on the ground, so the good news is we'll be taking off in the direction of our targets. The bad news is if we have to land in that direction, we'll have to fly longer when we come back. I might just fly straight in if he's already come back to base when I'm coming back. And there he goes, full afterburner. Flying off in the sunset. It's actually the sunrise.
Pontiac 1, airborne.
There we go, he's airborne. Nobody seems to be in the pattern except him, so let's get on the runway, and it's going to be our turn to take off. You can see the HKs in the HUD. That indicates the Hawk air defense system. It's actually right here on the base. You might actually see some of the vehicles there in the distance, yeah. Alright, so that's running up now. airborne, gears up, flaps up. We're gonna start heading for our waypoint. Just a little bit off the sun, so we'll be able to see where we're going. We are a bit fast here, so I'm going to slow down. I have a ton of fuel, 14. Doesn't mean we have to burn it all in one shot. So once we're set where we want, we can set the barometric altitude hold. And then we can check on the SA page. You can see where Charlie is. That's why I don't want to fly too fast. And we have the auto throttle here, so we can keep at the speed we are right now. There we go, there's our friend. Can actually get a visual on him. So look at that scenery. I really like the way it looks like that with a little bit less snow. This is a mod, of course. It's not the real map, but really interesting.
Pontiac 1, in from the northwest, engaging SAM at bullseye 056 for 18.
So he's got the SAM, he knows where it is. I'm gonna climb up a little bit. He went. There he is. So let's stabilize around Angels 8. When it's hard to see your altitude here, you can check here. So once I get to 0 here, I'll be at Angels 8. Can bring it down like that. And we're more or less at 8,000 feet. Stable altitude. Got a bit of a case of the sniffles today, so I might have to blow my nose a few times. It's the moon. Alright, so in order to fly above the mountains ahead of us, I'll climb a little bit. I'm going to do a bit of a sort of a zigzag in my flight path so that I don't have the sun too much in my face. I'm going to give it a little bit more throttle, closer to 100%. So I think we have the interior jettison stations for the fuel tanks. As you can see, the big fuel tanks there and there. So we'll prep that as I like to do. I press the two buttons and I set it here. If I need to jettison, I just move it to stores and press the red button. Now we're going to head for our waypoint. So I'm gonna test for my bombs what my targeting pod is telling me. I can probably turn on the laser. I've got the correct code here, as you can see, 1688. This can be changed by pressing the UFC button and changing the designator. Or if you want to change the code that you could look for if a friend is buddy lasing, you can enter it here. But we're good with that one. So we can go back to our nav mode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set my air-to-air mode for track while scan. Just to give us an idea of the battlefield, you can see that Pontiac is approaching the SA2. We're going to be coming north of our bridge here, and the AWACS is patrolling there. And so we'll go back to nav mode. Switch to waypoint 2. I think it might be a good idea to actually just switch to waypoint 3, switch air to ground, go back to the HSI, waypoint designate, get our flare going. And we'll stay just below the clouds here. We engage barometric altitude hold. Put ourselves on the bomb fall line. As we can see, this is looking straight at the bridge. This is what we want. Let's check that our laser switch is on. It's gonna do the automatic lasing. Master arm is on, AG is on. 37 seconds to release. I'm just gonna check my stores again. I'll probably have to manually release them both more or less at the same time. Okay, something is engaging me. It's the SA2 probably. Bombs away. Gonna turn right. Laser's gonna start in 10 seconds. And so if we look at our bombs, they're following their ballistic arc towards the target. And now the laser's turning on. They should be heading straight for it. Oh, that guy who's going across the bridge in that car, he just had a nasty surprise. And so if we look behind us, that bridge is gone. So I'm gonna turn off my lights since I'm more or less in enemy territory at this time. We're gonna switch to air and ask the AWACS for bogey dope.
Magic 2-1, Chevy 1-1, request bogey dope. Chevy 1-1, Magic 2-1, Rob 192, 440, at 28,600 knots.
Okay, so we have a 40-mile target at just 25. We're gonna go investigate what it is. So I do have something here. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. This is our target here. Thought I had set the sensitivity for that, but I guess wasn't done properly. I'll just keep it in a soft lock. I did like for just a second a hard lock there. You must know I'm coming. It says F1 on the RWR, so it's Mirage F1. Let's climb to meet him. Gonna give it plenty of gas since we have a lot of it, and we'll probably drop our tanks shortly. 21 miles. Set this ready to drop. Okay, that's disengaged already. And so 15 miles. Tanks jettisoned. We're at 12 miles. 11. Fox 3. Drop some countermeasures. Crank a little bit to the right. Got a good hit. Enemy destroyed. We're gonna not stick too long in this sector. So we're going to go check our HSI and head home. So now I've got to lock on a friend. Oops, I wanted to go down. Gonna set it back to RWS. Trying to get below the clouds at about 16,000 feet. It's a bit strange that it seems to keep the lock even though I'm in range while scan. Okay, so now I'm just search mode. Let's just ask in case there's any other bogeys.
Chevy 1-1. Request bogey dope. Chevy 1-1. Magic 2-1. Clean.
Clean. We cleaned up our bridge in the distance there. And we can see that there's just little indications of snow here and there on the map. So we could fly a little bit faster. There we go, auto throttle set for 460. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a right turn to go fly a little bit more over land, just so we can appreciate the scenery with the winter scenery where there's a little bit less snow. So oddly enough, where I live today, we had like 1 or 2 inches of snow. And so I'm really looking forward for the snow to be patchy like this, where everything will have almost melted. Looks pretty good at that altitude, but it still looks good at the lower altitudes. Trying to look a little bit at where I'm going so that we don't crash. Changes the atmosphere quite a bit.
Altitude. Altitude.
That'd make a nice screenshot, right? So we'll head back to our waypoint because it lines us up on final here. And we can do a little aerobatics just for fun. Having way too much fun with my $30 million jet. So if we look there, we'll be able to see that this is our runway where we took off. That AB that we saw, I guess that's the Huey that's patrolling. Alright, so we'll switch waypoints. We'll slowly start turning towards the airfield and maybe start slowing down as well. We'll line up with the runway, get the air brakes out. Still have a little ways to go.
Altitude. Altitude.
You can see the big board up the back. Gonna give it some flaps, gonna get the gear down. Then we'll go to full flaps. Here I'm holding the speed brake in place because below 250 it comes in automatically. If I drop it, look, it goes in. So now we're more or less at the landing speed, so I'll just pull the nose up. The flight path marker on the runway. Trim the plane so that it wants to stay there. Trimming up trimming up, put it in the bracket. Now we're at the correct speed for landing. Can turn our lights back on. There we go.
Food order. Chevy 1-1 inbound. Chevy 1-1. Delta, fly heading 331, Fort 12, QFE 29.85, runway 15, Japan altitude.
We're not landing on runway 15.
Food order. Chevy 1-1. Request landing. Chevy 1-1. Cleared for visual. Contact tower.
Let's put our feet on the pedals. Touchdown, air brakes out, pull on the stick, apply brakes. Get the flaps back to neutral. It's hard to see with the snow if it's a taxiway. Yes, it is. Yes, we are taxiing to parking area. Runway is going to be clear in about 5 seconds. Apparently someone at the tower wants to talk to me. So I guess we're parked here.
Chief, place the wheel chocks. Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
I'm gonna do the lazy shutdown. Just for fun, let's go check the target area. We can see the bridge is broken there. If I go F7 on that, that's one of the AAA's at the bridge, but if we look at the bridge itself, it's missing its center section there, so I don't think anyone's gonna be crossing the bridge anytime soon. There, I hope you enjoyed the little display